Topping tank pressure off.
Off.
Spent topping tank.
Spinning.
Plus 20.
Report topping tank pressure.
Push down.
Decaying.
Spent second stage ground pressure. Bennett.
Plus 30
Second
seconds.
stage power supplies off. Off. Fire X off.
Looking good at BPL.
Pitch
Plus
command.
40.
Normalize all switches. Continue to report time to second stage start.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go, Mr. D. Here we go. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. Yeah, here we go. 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 Here we go.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Welcome back to another edition of Mr. D Likes Rap. For today, I will be doing a review of the new Takeoff album, The Last Rocket. This is the second solo album coming out of the Migos gang. The first one being Quavo Huncho, that came out a couple weeks ago. I never really intended to do a review of that one. I wasn't super impressed. I started doing Mr. D Likes Rap a little bit after, and I haven't really touched the album since it came out. There's just something about Quavo's, I don't know if it's his voice or his cadence or it's his tone. I always found myself getting super bored with an extended project or just listening to him constantly. I can never get through the whole thing. With that being said, I do like Migos. I think the three of them work well together. I wasn't super crazy about Culture 2, which was more of a data dump, a 26, 27, God knows how many track project. Wasn't for me. But Culture, the first one, fantastic. It's a good intro to kind of the trap music genre, and I really enjoyed that one. With Quavo kind of falling short in his debut project, when I threw on this one, my hopes were not high. But since the album's release, I gotta say, I have listened to this album so many times in its entirety. Oh my god, it's a very solid album. There was just something about it, I kept coming back to it over and over again. And of course, with Mr. D looking at both like listenability and content, there are a few negative sides to the content, but all in all, the positives definitely outweigh the negatives. For an album with next to no features and this weird kind of spaceflight NASA concept, and for Takeoff to make both of those things work in his favor, I was thoroughly impressed. And one thing I want to kind of mention before I jump into the track list, when an album kind of has this long-running concept throughout its entirety, it's awesome to see artists kind of call back to that concept. The spaceflight, the NASA, he comes back to it consistently. His name's Takeoff, and the album's called Last Rocket, and it opens with this like NASA launch countdown, and at first I thought it was corny or lame, but it kind of gets you pumped up. I'm really glad I gave this album a chance. I'm glad I put the time in, I listened to it, and I've really come across a project that I don't think I would have listened to if I wasn't doing these videos, and I really like to see that kind of focus and creativity that Takeoff put into this project. Let's take off to the track list. Kick off the opening track, Martian. This intro song, once you get past the countdown, has this like incredibly fierce beat. It's not lazy, it's not bland. Like it kicks things off with this like a super strong bang. I get like a delivery that Takeoff has that I've never really seen from Quavo or Offset. It is so insane how these rhymes all work really well together. Takeoff uses this like imperfect rhyme scheme at the end of every line, and he never skips a beat. There's no awkward stopping. It just flows really, really well. And lyric-wise, we got over-the-top confidence, jewelry, cars, but it works. There are a couple more lines that stuck out to me. As you can see right off the bat, we have this really nice Juice WRLD reference. Really subtle dig there. Nice work, Takeoff. At the end of this song, Takeoff goes back to that space theme, referencing Marvin the Martian from the Looney Tunes show. So first track down, we got some really awesome rhyme, a nice burn on Juice WRLD, and we're back to our concept. Good start. So here we get another pretty decent track. It opens with this very glossy instrumental. There's another space-themed ad-lib. This is one of the only songs that has a feature, and it's, you guessed it, Quavo from Migos. Let's take a look at these first few bars from Quavo. He hits a lot of different notes here. So we get a neat money laundering reference, a solid bar about ensuring that your diamonds are top quality. Then the closing line, a little weird, just as a little FYI, goes without saying, if a girl winks at you, it doesn't just mean she wants to have sex with you. Winking can mean any number of things. And you gotta still remember, like, this song does sound really good, but there are some lines that are just kind of maybe gross or not really that smart or clever. Oh, man, that first line is just awful. It really emphasizes the shitting, doesn't it? And then sweep 'em like a broom. I had to point this one out. Like, Takeoff, it's a good project, but he has a lot of corny lines kind of mixed in there. I'm not really crazy about Quavo's verse, but all in all, it's a pretty catchy song. So we're riding this momentum. We're 2 songs in. Pretty impressed. Let's keep going. Okay, so Takeoff. You repeat the line over and over again in the chorus. It means nothing to me. It's called none to me, but you keep saying nothing to me. Nothing to me. None to me. What? As an English teacher, I don't get it. Why? It's confusing. Again, not a bad song at all. Really catchy. Let's see some lyrics. So we get a solid message referencing the friends and supporters that you've had since the beginning of your career and paying them back. I think that's a great theme to point out. Let's take a look at the chorus. And with these lines, it's just like, I get it. I get that's the message you're playing on in this track. It feels like money and designer clothes, like they mean something to you. Like in this song, I'm not going to put up the lyrics, but he talks about dreaming about a Rolex and then going out and immediately buying one. I feel like you live a lavish lifestyle. I think it means something to you. So again, mixed messages in this track, but when it comes to like questionable content or inappropriate lyrics, we get only like a lame syrup reference. But other than that, it's a really catchy song, and I'm still hooked 3 songs in. Next track. I don't know how Takeoff keeps doing this. This song is so good. It's fantastic. The chorus is it's a little risque, but I friggin' love it. It's a good, catchy, awesome chorus. I think the thing that keeps me in this project is we're 4 songs deep, and every one sounds different. It's very diverse. Like, you can actually tell the difference between each song, and that really helps in keeping me like actively listening and wanting to go song for song and not get bored. Couple lyrics to draw attention to. Take a look. So it's definitely kind of a meh message to repeat in a chorus. But honestly, it's one kind of minor drug reference in a song that's all about watches and diamonds. They mean nothing to him, apparently. And a couple lines here that I gotta talk about too. Okay, so I love these 3 lines that we get to talk about. We got rapid fire analysis. Here we go. Man with an afro, you mean Afro Man? Real gosh darn creative. Rocket, Astro, pew sound. Yeah, okay, now we're hitting the concept again. And finally, really solid closing clever line. I'll take it. Next track. Definitely a bit of a step down on this track. Takeoff kind of eases back a bit in his verses, and the production is it's spellbinding. It's awesome, and I think Takeoff doesn't really do it justice. And it seems like every couple lines or so, Takeoff forgets what he's rapping about. Like, he just goes from topic to topic, not really picking one thing to talk about. And we get these like super unique and super different lines in the chorus. Take a look. These freaking guys, they love their money and they love their diamonds. It's a thing. And I find it's kind of funny to picture Takeoff the next day. Like, he's super hungover. He has to recount all the money that he threw up in the air when he was with his girls, and it was super passionate. And now he can't find the money, and he's just like, okay, ladies, like, there was $25,000 here when we started last night, and I'm only counting 24,500. We need to work as a team here. And then on the flip side, though, Takeoff does have a nice couple bars to go back to his concept. And look at that. Takeoff's doing it. He's doing it. It's like if he was writing an essay on space. A few paragraphs in, he's calling back to that theme. He's going back to it. That's an E for effort right there, Takeoff. Keep up the good work. Next track. So this one kind of has one of the weaker hooks on the album. It's pretty much as you'd expect. It's a song about nostalgia and looking back. You go from selling drugs to making hella dollar bills. So this song and Vacation were produced by Murda Beats, who is a Canadian producer. He's got credit for some pretty unreal songs, like Drake's Nice for What and Travis Scott's Butterfly Effect. So if you're feeling these songs on Takeoff's album and those two songs, try to figure out what this guy has his hand in. It's pretty cool to check out songs just solely based on producers. Next track. Again, we got ourselves a fairly catchy chorus. Generic lines about started from the bottom, now we're here. You're making nothing, then you make something of yourself. You're making all them stacks. And I do love highlighting lines that reference teachers. Man, Takeoff, if I was your teacher, I would have supported that dream you had like nobody's business. And my God, this teacher sounds like such a dick. Takeoff brings him McDonald's, and the guy says, "Hey man, don't follow your dreams." That's ruthless. But Takeoff has no hard feelings. What a beauty. All in all, it's really not a bad track. Pretty catchy. There's no super negative messages that I can find. It's just talking about getting all that money. Next track. So I asked a few students about this album, and this song kept coming up, and they're saying Casper's their favorite song on the album. And it's kind of a strange track. Like it does sound really good. The production is fantastic, really catchy chorus, and Takeoff has this really strong flow throughout the hook. It's a little bit more mellow, a little bit more toned back, but still really smooth. But after going through the lyrics, it just sounds like a commercial for Rolls Royce. I feel like Takeoff could have been paid a lot of money by Rolls Royce to write this song. It's riddled with references to the car. With that first line, it looks like it's a nice reference to our theme and our concept, but the genius lyrics reference is that I guess with Rolls Royce, they have a $12,000 option so that you can install fiber optics in the ceiling of your car so that it looks like the stars. Like, that can't be safe. And there's just this weird obsession with just Rolls Royce. He's talking about features and color options. He shortens the name for convenience sake. But then we get a few more bars later on. No, not cool. Don't care for that. Like, I've been pretty flexible with some of the lines sprinkled throughout here. So Casper, I don't know. It sounds good, but content, it's an ad for Rolls Royce. It's kind of sexist. Next track. This song could be summed up with a giant billboard encrusted with diamonds with the words flex and clout. Like, it's just insane how much these guys love this stuff. But again, Takeoff, I'm in the rocket ship with him. I'm not jumping out. I'm in it to win it right now. I love this. Let's keep it going. We get these really nice bars that pop up in this song. And again, it kind of goes back to that awful teacher who tried to stomp all over Takeoff's dream. But I like how this part highlights the not listening to the critics or the people who try to get you down. Like, you're out there to get what you want, and you're not going to let those people slow you down. And I gotta say, there's a couple drug references in this track, but it's called Insomnia, and I was honestly expecting worse. Like, he references Percocets and Molly's, but it's very minimal. Not over the top. And then Takeoff kind of goes back to that really quick flow, hitting those really imperfect rhymes. I love how he can rhyme crates, dates, tape, face, taste, and it flows really well. That's sweet. I love it. Do I skip this song? No, not at all. I found there's one little nugget of a decent message in there, few drug references, but I expected worse. Next track. We reached a bad song. we were going so good. Bad song alert, bad song alert. And the amount of bad singing has reached critical mass in this spacecraft. I hate it. I hate it so much. I don't know who you are, Daytona Fox, but just no more. And it sucks because after looking through these lyrics, like, you find some really genuinely nice and sweet lines for that love track on a project. Take a look. Like, there's something very real about these lines that I really like. It's about being with the person you love and, like, yeah, I'll buy you whatever you want. But at the end of the day, it all comes back to the feelings and the emotions that you have with that person. Despite that horrific and awful, horrible, terrible start to the song, Takeoff manages to fix it a little bit. Next track. There we go. Back to business. Back to business on this one. We got ourselves a quick, very fierce introduction. Takeoff is still benefiting from some internal rhyme, but we get a couple lines like these. I'm an investor, and I make investments. Come on, Takeoff, you're better than that. Like, he's been pretty clever and creative throughout the project, but it's like the broom line from back in the day, investing, it's weak. It's weak. And then we got these few bars that come up. And we got a couple nods to codeine and excessive drinking. It's never a good thing, but it's the second last song on the album. References like that have been at a pretty strong minimum. On to the last track. So this one opens with another kind of spacey and glossy vibe. And I gotta say, this closing track has like a real culminating feel to it. Like, it feels like kind of an ending track. It steers away from more of the glitz and glamour. It's a little more grounded. I like how Takeoff's tone is a little more reserved in lines like this. So we get like a look at some honesty, some anxiety coming out of Takeoff, which again is a rare thing to see in hip-hop. And I really like how this message is on the closing track. This is what Takeoff wanted to show the listener on the last song, and I think that's kind of cool. He has this very mature way of looking back at his roots, and he can recall some of the emotions he felt when he was just starting out in his career. I love that. Sweet, sweet ending. And as we wrap up on this Takeoff project, we get this cool outro. It's from Felix Baumgartner's Space Jump. This is where he set the record for highest and fastest recorded freefall. Pretty cool way to end an album about space. I approve. I like it. I gotta say, this was a review I was really excited to write. I listened to this album a bunch of times. I still listen to this album, and I really vibed with it. After diving through the lyrics, you come across those really corny rap topics that come up a lot. Cars, money, diamonds. But Takeoff has this way to kind of keep it fresh from track to track. No song ever hits the 4-minute mark, which I think is crucial to not getting bored when listening to this. Before you're sick of listening to a song, or when the hook gets a little too repetitive, boom, you're on the next song. And I mentioned this earlier, but each song has a distinguishable energy behind it. After listening to Quavo Huncho, I really couldn't tell which song was which. They all start to blend together. There isn't a super positive message to take away from this album, but I don't see a lot of negativity either. His name is Takeoff. It's an album called Last Rocket, and he sprinkled this album with references and nods going back to that concept and theme. That's something I really didn't expect from an artist like Takeoff. I feel like Takeoff definitely had a vision for this album, and while recording the songs and putting everything together, there was a focus. And that's something that you don't get a lot in trap music. And for the amount of times that I've listened to this album, Takeoff really shined on this one. Super impressed. Well, let's check the report card. Thank you for watching Mr. D Likes Rap. Like if you like, comment to let me know what to review next, and hit that subscribe button if you want to get notifications on my upcoming videos. Thanks a lot for watching.